Why did the seller not accept those offers? That's going to be your next question. And the agent is going to say again, well, I can't share that with you. Or the agent is going to say, well, they were too low. But they may or may not tell you why they didn't accept those offers. And then the next question is, what will the seller do if the property doesn't sell? This is very important. All right. Now, when you start asking this question, now you're going to determine the level of motivation that the seller has. So the agent may say something along the lines of, now let's go straight into working with agents. Okay. Your online presence, what does it show? This is important, okay? So if you are going to be working with real estate agents and you are going to be submitting offers and you're going to be submitting proof of funds and you're going to be submitting articles of incorporation and you're going to be doing all of these things and you're going to be sending this to the agent so that the agent could either help you write up an offer or the real estate agent that is going to be writing up the offer for you, who's going to be presenting it to that agent, they're going to see your name, they're going to see your corporation, they're going to see whatever it might be, your partnership, your corporation, whatever it is. What's your online presence like? Okay, this is very important. So when you're doing this and you're going out there and you're reaching out to agents, and the agent, right? The agent, their job is to screen the buyer. The last thing the agent wants to do is to get into contract with a buyer who's not going to perform, with a buyer that's going to waste their time, with a buyer that's going to take the property off the market, with the buyer that's going to get the seller upset, and in turn get the seller upset at the agent, right? So here's the thing: a good agent is going to do a quick search for you on Google, on LinkedIn, all of that stuff. And so you have to ask yourself, what does your online presence look like right now, right? If your online presence is you doing a bunch of things, partying everywhere and doing a bunch of things that you probably shouldn't be doing, and that's the video content that's on there, you're going to have a difficult time convincing a real estate agent to trust you on a deal where they have a seller selling really what is their most valuable asset, probably the most valuable asset that they own, to you, right? Or getting that contract or that deal to you. And so I tell people all the time when I start working with them, what is your online presence like? Do you have an online presence, right? On your social media, are you using your name? Are you using some random handles? What kind of images are you posting? What is it that you're posting? And not only that, but these days, like, you even have to look at what you're liking. Right? The stuff that you're liking, because I've said it before, but other people can see what it is that you're liking and what it is that you're commenting on. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but the point is, some of you are going to have to clean up your online presence. You're just going to have to clean it up, right? The picture of yourself. If you're saying, hey, look, I'm a real estate investor and I want to purchase this property, okay, and the picture of you isn't demonstrative of someone who wants to be professional or somebody who wants to invest in real estate, the reality is there's going to be some people that are going to, they're going to judge that, or they're going to question it. That's just the truth. Okay. I mean, if your picture is of you with the hoodie curled up and all you see are your eyes or sunglasses, come on, right? What do you want me to tell you? Okay. You're asking an agent to trust you as a real estate investor with someone's only the most precious asset that they might have. Okay. So take a look at your online presence, check your handles, check your names, clean it up a little bit, put that you're a real estate investor, put that you buy houses, put all that stuff on your profile so that if somebody ever does Google you or research you, like, it makes sense. The stories, it makes sense. Everything matches up. Okay. You need to have a LinkedIn presence. Okay. As much as you don't want to believe it, you should have a LinkedIn profile. And I don't want you to put wholesaler on your profile. I want you to call yourself real estate investor. Okay. Even if you're saying, Paul, I have never invested in real estate. I don't know anything about real estate. I don't have anything. Doesn't matter. Put that you're a real estate investor on there. Okay. And little by little, start adding content to it. Little by little, start sharing links for other real estate related things on there. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Okay. Next thing, let's demystify realtors, okay? A significant percentage of realtors, it was around 71%. I recently saw another statistic that said 78. So different stats are floating around, but let's just say that it's 70. Let's be conservative. 70% of all realtors in the last year have not sold a single deal. 70% of all realtors in the last year have not sold a single deal. Why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you because when you are going to be reaching out to agents and you're going to be contacting agents about the property or the listing that they are representing, there are going to be some times where they are going to be maybe a little rude, maybe a little arrogant, and some of them have earned the right to be that way. There are some very, very educated, top producing real estate agents. So they might have a little bit of overconfidence, right? I'm not saying they have the right to be rude. I'm just saying they definitely know what they're doing. Let's put it that way. But 7 out of 10 of them haven't sold anything. 7 out of 10 of them, which means a couple things. Number one, they want to make a deal. They're motivated to make a deal, right? And the other thing is a lot of them just they're not working hard enough. Okay, but I'm sharing that with you because I don't want you to feel intimidated by a real estate agent or talking to a real estate agent. Okay, a lot of times people when I'm coaching them, one of the things that they say, well, I'm afraid to call agents. I don't know what to say, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. And look, just know that 7 out of 10 of them haven't sold a house in the last year. Okay, so who's doing worse off here, you or them? Okay, the point is that they want to make money. They want to close a deal. You just have to learn the language in order to do that. Okay, the best way to learn the language is by joining us on these lives or by getting a mentor. Okay. They are okay. Here's the other thing. Real estate agents are to present all offers, all written offers, unless specified on their purchase agreement. Excuse me, I should say on their listing agreement. So that was a little typo on my part. Here's the deal. If you write up an offer to a real estate agent and they tell you, I'm not presenting that, that's too low, you have to remind them very nicely, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent, listen, unless there's something on your listing agreement that stipulates that you are not to present any offers below X price, I'd really like for you to reconsider and to present it to your seller, or I'll just present it to them myself, right? Now, that's really ballsy, but if you say something like that, you're going to wake them up, you're going to shake them up. Most listing agents do not have any language in their listing agreement that stipulates that they are not to present any offers below a certain dollar price. I know this because at one point with my brokerage that I owned, I had over 150 agents and none of them ever did that, okay? Now, let's talk about the script. What is the script that you're going to be using when you're going to be calling up agents? And I missed a slide, I think. Hmm. All right. Well, where are you going to find these online deals? Where are you going to find? They're really easy. You can find them on Zillow. Okay. And if you need a spreadsheet or if you need something to find these listings, number one, you can go do your search. But number two, what we did was we created a spreadsheet that has all of the search terms that you could possibly want when looking for these deals, when looking for these opportunities in all 50 states. So every keyword, every key phrase, like bank owned, needs TLC, repairs, all cash, as is, tenant occupied, all of that stuff, every key word that any investor would want to see when they're looking for a deal, when they're looking for an opportunity, we've already created all the filters for all those searches in all 50 states. If you're interested in getting that spreadsheet, all you have to do is click on the cell and it'll open up all the properties that fall under those parameters. You can go to Zillow.dispodragons.com, Zillow.dispodragons.com. It's $10. Okay, $10 to get you that spreadsheet, and now you save yourself a whole bunch of time as opposed to having to go into Zillow, doing all the searches yourself, looking at the properties, trying to identify which ones make sense. We've already done that for you. Just use that spreadsheet. Okay. Now, what's the script that you use? Hi, I'm looking for John or Jane Agent. Hi, John or Jane Agent. My name is Paul. I'm calling about the property at 1234 Mockingbird Lane. Okay. I know that sounds simple, and I know you would think that, most people should know this already, but here's the deal. This is how you start the script. It's just very simple. That's the first thing you say. The next thing that you're going to say is, what you want to do is you want to ask them, is it available? Okay, I'm calling about 1234 Mockingbird Lane. Is it available? And the agent's probably going to say, yes, it's available, or no, it's not. It's not available, whatever it is. But let's assume that they say, yes, it's available. Do you currently have any offers on the table? All right. You want to ask them, do you have any offers on the table? Now, why are you asking them if they have any offers on the table right now? Number one, because you don't necessarily want to get into a bidding war. So if the agent says, yeah, we have about 4 or 5 offers on the table. Well, if you're looking to make a deal, if you're looking to negotiate, if you're looking to get the best price possible, getting into a bidding war is probably not the way to do it. Okay. Not in this market. Now, in other markets where the prices are actually rising, they're accelerating, that's different. But in this market, prices are not accelerating. So you're not going to want to put yourself into any bidding bidding war currently as of right now. So do you have any offers on the table? And the agent might say, yeah, we've got one, or yeah, we're currently in negotiations with one. If they got one, there may be an opportunity there, right? But if you hear two, three, four, five, I probably wouldn't throw my hat in the ring for that. Now, if they say no, we don't have any offers on the table, the next question I'm going to say is, have you received any offers on the property? Okay, I want to know if they've gotten any offers on the property. And the reason that I want to know if they've gotten any offers is because it tells me what other people are considering, what other investors might be thinking about making in terms of offers for the property. Now, the agent, again, may say yes. The agent may say no. They may say, no, we haven't gotten any offers yet. Or the agent may say, yes, we've gotten some offers, but they've all been too low. All right. Now, the next question that you're going to ask is, what price range did they come in at? You want to know where they came in at. What price did those other offers come in? And the agent may say something like, I can't tell you that. And that's a fair response, okay? By saying I cannot tell you that, what they are basically saying is, by me sharing that with you, it could potentially put my seller at a disadvantage and cause them to not be able to negotiate as strongly as they would. So that's a fair response, and it's their fiduciary responsibility to do that for the seller. Now, you're going to get some agents that are going to tell you, yeah, look, we've gotten offers at 150,000, 200,000, 230,000, and she just didn't accept. He or she wants 250,000. And they may just tell you flat out, that's what it's going to take to make this deal work. Now, at least they told you, right? At least they know, but you won't get this information unless you ask them these questions. So it's your job to ask all these questions of the agent. Now, some of you are looking at this and you're like, well, we're asking a bunch of agents. We're asking these agents these questions. Aren't we annoying the agent? That's the agent's job. The agent's job is to field these questions for any one of their listings. Now, if they're a top producing agent, there's a good chance that they may have an assistant that is fielding these calls for them. But these are valid questions that any buyer would be asking for their listing. So you should feel comfortable. You should feel confident asking these questions of the listing agent. It's their job and their responsibility to answer them for you. Okay. Next slide. Why did the seller not accept those offers? That's going to be your next question. And the agent is going to say again, well, I can't share that with you. Or the agent is going to say, well, they were too low. But they may or may not tell you why they didn't accept those offers. And then the next question is, what will the seller do if the property doesn't sell? This is very important. All right. Now, when you start asking this question, now you're going to determine the level of motivation that the seller has. So the agent may say something along the lines of, well, the price was too low. Well, the seller owes too much. You might hear something like that. Well, what will they do if it doesn't sell? They'll just rent it out. Okay, that's one of the things that they might do. They'll just rent it out. They'll fix it up themselves. They'll put it back on the market, or they'll hold on to it. You don't want to hear those responses. When you ask an agent, what will the seller do if it does not sell, and the agent says they don't really care, they don't need the money, they'll just hold on to the property. Couple things. Number one, you've got a seller that's not motivated. Number two, you can almost hear the level of defeat when an agent says something like that, right? When an agent says something like they don't care, they don't need the money, they'll just hold on to it, you can tell that the agent is not even that motivated to get the property sold themselves. And it's probably because they've worked to get offers to the seller and the seller just hasn't accepted. And so now the agent's just holding on to that listing, maybe for marketing purposes, or just hoping for a Hail Mary, hoping that a buyer comes out of the woodworks and makes the seller an offer at their asking price, which is probably not going to happen anyway. So you want to know, what will the seller do if they don't sell the property? And then the last question is, how flexible is the seller in price? Okay. How flexible is the seller in price, which you probably would have already determined by asking all of these questions. Thank you for sharing that with me. Let me do some research and let me crunch my numbers. I may get back to you this evening or even tomorrow. Okay. What is your email address so that I can send you my proof of funds and article of incorporation? Now, if you're doing this right, you're going to send them your proof of funds. Now, if you're brand new and you're looking at this and you're saying, I don't have any proof of funds, that go back to go at start, right? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a JV partner. You're going to want to get a mentor. You're going to want to find someone that does have a proof of funds, someone that does have the financial wherewithal and financial capability of closing this deal if you negotiated at a price that makes sense. So you're going to send them your proof of funds. If you do have a corporation, you're going to send them your articles of incorporation. If you're buying it under your personal name, then no problem. You just send them your proof of funds. Okay. The proof of funds is essentially the bank statement that just shows that that you have the money in the bank to be able to purchase this property at whatever the price might be. So if, and I know this again might sound rudimentary, but if you're buying a property or you're attempting to buy a property that is $300,000, then you need to show them a bank statement that shows them $300,000 in there. Or you can show them two bank statements, right? One with one bank that has 150,000 and then one with another bank that has $150,000 on it. Whatever it is that you want to do, you just got to make sure that you have a valid proof of funds. And if you don't have one, get a mentor, get a JV partner that does have it and that does have the financial capability of closing the deal at the price that you negotiated at, okay? Now, there's also ways where you can send out mass offers and letters of intent. We use a tool called the Deal Bazooka, and the Deal Bazooka is essentially a system that uses data from batch leads or prop stream. I prefer batch leads, but you get the data, you import it, and then what it'll do is it will actually auto-calculate the offers that you should be sending it. Now, look, it's going to be sending them anywhere between 50 to 70%, depending on what parameters you set, and then it extracts the information of the agent, it extracts their email address, it extracts the address, it comes up with the term, it spits it out for you in the form of a template, and then it emails the letter of intent out for you. And we use a tool called the Deal Bazooka. You can go to school.dispodragons.com, school.dispodragons.com, school with a K. You can learn a little bit more about the Deal Bazooka. I mean, at one point, I was up to sending about 15 to 1,600 offers out, LOIs per day, sending them out. And then it just became we got a little inundated responding to all of the agents that were applying to all of the offers that we were sending. So we toned it down a little bit. If you're brand new, I would probably suggest starting at about, 15, 20, and then slowly scaling your way up to where you can send out 100 letter of intents, 100 offers a day to on-market properties nationwide. All right. So that's another strategy that you can use. If you go to school.dispodragons.com, it'll take you to, this is our free one. Doesn't cost anything to join. School.dispodragons.com. You go to Classroom, and then you go and you look for Deal Bazooka, and it'll have all the information on how to use it there. Okay. So when you are reaching out to agents, I'm going to go back to the very first slide. When you're working with agents and you're reaching out to agents, I said it earlier, make sure that your social media profiles and your handles and all of that stuff is up to par, because the agent is going to be researching you and checking you out. And then it's your job to make sure that you have the proof of funds and the articles if you have a corporation. Now, sometimes people will ask me, do I need to have an LLC or a corporation in order to submit offers? And you don't. Okay. Now, is it recommended that you have a corporation or an LLC as a level of protection for yourself and for your assets in the event of a lawsuit? Absolutely, 100%. It also provides a bunch of tax advantages. But that does not mean that you can't submit an offer. That does not mean that you can't work with an agent in your own personal name. You can. You can submit offers in your own personal name. You can submit offers in a corporation name if you'd like to. But the point is that don't use not having a corporation as an excuse for you not to work, as an excuse for you not to go out there and talk to agents and talk to sellers and submit offers, okay? At some point, once you start to generate a little bit of income, by all means, set up an LLC, set up a C Corp, S Corp, whatever it is that you want to do. Speak to your accountant about which one you prefer. Set one up, and then you can start submitting the offers in that corporation's name. And then, you can take advantage of all the tax advantages that it provides as well. But you can do this business in your own personal name, especially when you're just getting started. And all you're really doing is you're just submitting offers, right? That's really what you're doing. You're submitting offers through an agent, or you're submitting offers directly to the seller. The advantage of the having the corporation is just for legal purposes and for tax implications. Okay. So as a reminder, please make sure that you like and follow us on all of our social media channels. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click on the bell icon so that you could get alerts every time we go live and every time we upload brand new content. If you have any content that you would like us to cover, or you have any questions that you would like for us to cover, send us a DM on any of the platforms. I see them all. Send me a direct message. Tell me what it is that you need some help with, and I'll try to address that in the next video. If you have a deal that you need help restructuring, renegotiating, or just a second set of eyes to look at what you're doing, by all means, send me a direct message. This is what we do. We specialize in this. We are doing this all day long. I mean, we are just looking at deals and analyzing deals and figuring out ways to structure them and restructure them for you. There are plenty of people that contact us, and one of the things that they need help with is just restructuring a deal and giving it new life. And we are very good at that. Okay. So send us a direct message. Let us know. I have to get going. I hope this video helped you. If it did, please give me a thumbs up in the video. Give me a heart if you're watching it on other platforms. And I appreciate you participating. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day.